How many days until the election? Let's see here. It's November 8th. It's the 3rd right now, so 5 days. Holy moly, and a lot going on. It is Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY, joined in studio by Lisa Smith. She's running to take on Democrat incumbent State Representative Sue Shearer. And again, just a note, I have reached out to Sue Shearer multiple times and weeks ago. She said that she'd get back to me about a time that we could set this up, but have yet to hear back from her, even after requesting time to talk with her sometime this week, even as recent as last night. So we'll keep trying. But Lisa's been very open to talking about the issues, and she joins us now. Lisa, thanks for taking time with us this morning.
Oh, thank you for having me on.
So what are those issues heading here in the final 5 days of the election?
There's so many issues. There's so many. For those of you who can see me, I have a flyer here from Sue Shearer. I'll just explain. It says, this November, support a leader who supports Illinois family. I want to know, Sue Shearer, what things you have done to support Illinois family, because what I see is you voted for an increase in taxes. You voted, you were on a committee that headed up education, and our education system is one of the worst in the nation. You voted yes on the Safety Act, which puts our communities at risk and police at risk, increases crime, and does all sorts of things that we don't want, because crime is up even in Illinois, and now we're going to have a no cash bail coming into effect January 1st. She has done nothing for the communities. She's been pretty much a silent representative who's not spoke up about anything and has just sat in there and taken your money and not done anything for you. So the issues are economy, crime, and our education system. All she's failed on.
Lisa, a lot of other things going to be happening, of course, in the next few weeks here. Not just the election, but the week after. Lawmakers are going to be coming back for fall veto session. And while we don't know the outcome of the election, even if you were to get into the office, you wouldn't be seated until sometime mid-January. But what do you think lawmakers need to tackle when they do come back for that session after the election?
Well, first we have to tackle this. The Safety Act, of course, has to be addressed. I mean, it was put out there with lots of things in it that were dangerous for our communities and our state. And I don't know if anything will happen during the veto session, because there are some things that have been put forward, to kind of amend it or change it a little bit. I don't know what is going to happen with that, but if it's not addressed during the veto session, it needs to be addressed as soon as we get in there. That is a high priority issue for the people in the state of Illinois. People are scared. Police are worried. State's attorneys are worried, which you heard in our press conference the other day. We need clarity on this, and we need to figure out what to do to keep our communities safe.
Talking with Lisa Smith. She's vying, and it's the 96th district, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, the 96th Illinois House District, and Sue Shearer is the Democrat incumbent. And she, as you said, voted for the Safety Act back in January of 2021. So we'll see how that impacts any sentiment from voters in just a handful of days here. Lisa, you also recently put out a statement about COVID-19 vaccine for kids.
Yes.
And after the CDC several weeks ago said that it's going to be on the list for the 2023 schedule. While that's not a mandate for schools across the country, states do take that schedule and they lay it over as mandates for public schools in their states. Governor J.B. Pritzker, when we asked about this last week, after more than a week of nobody in Chicago asking a question. It was kind of amazing. Took coordination with me down here and a reporter up there to say, we need this question asked. Where he stands on vaccine mandates for COVID-19 for kids to go to school. He said it's going to be up to the legislature. So now the question's up to the legislature. What are your thoughts?
Okay, so this is the area that I practice in. I do pediatrics and I see kids, and I've done primary care and pediatrics for many, many years. And I am not an anti-vaxxer. I always recommended vaccines for kids for school and against the diseases we know are very dangerous for children and that kill children. And we have those vaccines out there, and kids get them, and everything's been good. We have a shot that is out there right now that I need to, when I'm looking at the research, and I do research on this. I mean, I've looked at the research on the vaccine, the adverse reactions to the vaccine, the data that shows if this virus is hurting children. And when I see all the data, I do not see a reason to be mandating a shot that neither prevents illness or transmission of a disease, and in most cases with healthy children does not even hurt if you do get the disease, it doesn't even hurt you, or you have no symptoms at all. This is why I feel that parents have the right to refuse vaccines for their children, and they are the person that needs to be in charge of this. They need the facts. They need to know the true facts about what is going on with this in children, and then make a decision on their own. Government has no place telling people they have to have a vaccine if they have issues against taking it. So
does your stance go for just the potential of a COVID-19 vaccine mandates, or is that for all vaccines? Because there is a list of vaccines that in every year at the beginning of school we hear about hundreds of Springfield District 186 students who can't go to school because they don't have the mandatory vaccines.
Well, so there is a form you can fill out to be so that you don't have to take it. And there's religious exemptions. There's other reasons you can say, I don't want my child to have this vaccine. And those are honored. What I'm seeing is a push to even have eliminating the exemption rule for religious. I mean, there is something out there right now that is saying we want to take away the religious exemption so that parents have no right to say, I don't want my child to have this vaccine. That is totally against our freedoms in this country, and we should not be allowing that. If you don't want your child to have something, I think we should honor that.
Lisa Smith with us. She is challenging Democrat incumbent Sue Shearer for the 96th Illinois House District, and that encompasses parts of the East Springfield area over into Decatur, right? What are some of the exact parameters of that jurisdiction?
It's most of the center of Decatur. I mean, the West End, of course, and then all the way through over on the lake area and stuff, and out towards the airport. So it's a lot of Decatur. The very fringe ends of outskirts of Decatur on the north and south and east side are in a different district, but most of Decatur I have. So,
Lisa, if people want more information about your candidacy, where can they find it?
Lisa Smith, smithforillinoishouse.com. And then on Facebook, I'm at Lisa Smith for State Representative.
And again, reiterate some of the major issues, at least, that you will tackle if you do get into the office.
We will look at, of course, this criminal act, this Unsafety Act, and try to repeal and replace that. We need to look at tax cuts, permanent tax cuts, not a 2-cent reprieve on your gas tax, but a permanent tax cuts for the people in the state of Illinois and businesses, and bring in more jobs. And then, of course, education. Our education system is failing our children, and we need to revamp the education system, put in a school choice plan so that people can put their kids in the school that they want, and fix this education system for the kids in Illinois.
Lisa Smith, greatly appreciate you taking the time, and we may talk again in the near future, all right?
All right. Thank you.
It is Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7.